Good morning. This video is all about turning life's tiny absurdities into unforgettable fiction with micro stories. Itty bitty stories, tiny stories. So let's just get right into it. Writers, dreamers, absurdity enthusiasts. Last night, I had to dig out my winter socks. And my white socks, completely invisible in the dark back room. I swear, they were hiding from me, and let me show you the difference here. Now this is one of my white socks. Now I have like 4 different kinds of these. So in the back room, they all look the same. So instead of fighting those socks, I went and got these socks. Because these were laying out on the table, already kind of matched. They were next to each other. But that's the kind of absurd stuff that I'm talking about. Imagine, your character doing something like that. They walk into the back room, the light switch is way over there, and the door is obviously like right here, especially like my back room. The light for the kitchen is on the opposite wall of the door you walk in. Not kidding. And those are life's little absurdities, right? So because of that, I could not see my socks. Because I have like 4 different styles of white socks. What I did figure, what I could see was my winter socks. Let me show you again. My winter socks. So, that's one of life's little absurdities. Think about that when you're writing for your character. What absurd thing can they encounter that would make your story more interesting or more relatable? Because that's really what we're talking about, is giving your characters human qualities so that they are flawed and weird like we are. Humans are weird, you know they are. So, let's move into some observations with some micro stories. So the secret is observation. You've probably heard the advice to go people watch. You don't really need to go people watch, because who are you going to focus on? But you could more or less pay attention to weird things in your day. Because you'll encounter weird things in your day all the time. Or you could go to the cafe and people watch if you're feeling social. So, that's one thing that they tell writers to do. Go out in public and watch people. See what they do. See what weird things they do. For me, like if I go out to eat, I'll just tell you a weird thing that happens to me. So if I go out to eat, let's say I have a hamburger or a chicken sandwich, it really doesn't matter. Some kind of sandwich. So I go get the cups of ketchup. I got my sandwich. I'll get the cups of ketchup. I got my sandwich. And a cup of ketchup goes on the sandwich, not under the bun. That's gross. On the sandwich. Then I take a bite, and it's mostly ketchup, and it's delicious. It's also messy. So, while I'm eating my hamburger with ketchup, or my ketchup with my hamburger, depending on how you want to look at it, this can draw attention from people. Like, I am the weird thing that they are observing. So, and I had a lady one time, I was at a Culver's. And I like Culver's quite a bit. I like Wendy's quite a bit too. But it's always the same. The ketchup is going to go on the sandwich. Then I'm going to eat that ketchup as I take a bite. So one day I'm at Culver's and a lady walks up to me and she says, "I wish I could be as carefree as you." And I'm like, what you talking about? And my sandwich is covered in ketchup. I'm covered in ketchup. Everything's covered in ketchup. And she's like, no, you really, like, have no clue that people are watching you. You are in your own zone enjoying that ketchup covered sandwich, and it is amazing. That's right. She was super impressed with my ability not to care who was watching. It was me and ketchup covered sandwich. So, and I said, oh, well, you should try it like this. It's delicious. Just get a little thing of ketchup, or bring a whole bottle. Sometimes I bring a bottle, and you get your sandwich, and your bottle of ketchup. Good. Get a napkin, a big napkin that makes a mess. So, in that instance, I was the weird thing being observed, and I didn't care. I had my sandwich covered in ketchup. Nothing else matters. So, that's an absurd thing that you could put into your book or something like it. Maybe your character's addicted to mustard. Or I was reading something the other day, somebody was dating someone who was absurdly obsessed with ranch dressing. What was that? Sounds like a pretty vicious alarm, don't you think? My CO2 detector is out of battery. It's okay. This tells me the temperature and the humidity is primarily what I use it for. But, again, life's little absurdities. This thing beeped in the middle of my video. Holy cow. What weird thing can happen to your character in the middle of the day? So here's a few more absurd things, right? The left sock with trust issues. Left sock with trust issues. Left sock, it's got trust issues. It doesn't trust panda corn because panda corn's got a horn. Have you ever seen one of these? Panda corn. All right. Left sock with trust issues. The left sock refused to pair with its right counterpart, glaring at me like it held a lifelong grudge. I can do it. I'm not pairing with the right sock. No, I'm not doing it. You are doing it. Not. You are pairing with the right sock. No. Stubborn left sock. It's my sock puppet. If you've never had a sock puppet that you talk to, you should get one. Or just use a sock. Okay. My left sock has trust issues. It refuses to pair with the right sock. And it's going to hold a lifelong grudge, man. It hates the right sock. Only Mr. Fuzz's watchful stare can bring it around. My sock is being obnoxious. Here comes Mr. Fuzz. Now, just to point it out, this is not Mr. Fuzz. This is panda corn. Mr. Fuzz is over here. This is Mr. Fuzz, or one of Mr. Fuzz's many versions. Mr. Fuzz. This is a Mr. Fuzz keychain. Mr. Fuzz keychain. Mr. Fuzz convinced the left sock to behave. If you haven't read that story, it's on my website. Mr. Fuzz keychain. Also on somewhere, I will leave a description to a link to a Mr. Fuzz keychain in case you need a Mr. Fuzz in your life. Mr. Fuzz. All right, now that's story number one. The sock that refused to mate, because socks don't mate. One of them is always hiding somewhere, and they sure as heck do not multiply. They divide. You had two socks. Now you got one sock. This is one sock. Okay, next up. The vampire snack crisis. Folks, there's a vampire snack crisis out there. Didn't you know that? There was a vampire snack crisis. Shadow, a tiny vampire, had to flee her home planet because the snack supply ran out. It was totally tragic. Little vampire, no snacks. Horrible. And her first encounter on Earth? Did you know humans are not vampire snacks? So disappointing. So very disappointing. She was very disappointed that she could not snack on the humans. No, they had to do something about that. And where is the tiny vampire? The tiny vampire is right here. That's right, folks. This whole book is about a vampire looking for a snack. And there are like 21 more of these books. And you know what the vampires are doing? Looking for a snack. That's the absurdity about it. In fact, somebody asked me today if I ever planned to write a biography about my life. Because I have weird thoughts and summaries on a lot of things that just like are not this. The regular people do not think the way I do. Regular. Normal. Anyway, my thoughts on things are vastly different from everybody else's. So, go figure, I'm an author. So, they asked me if I was ever going to do an autobiography with some of my thoughts about random things. And I said, well, I've thought about it a lot. In fact, my mom and my aunt used to tell me that I should write a book with my observations because they are unique. There we go, I finally found the right word. They're unique. So, I haven't done it, and the reason is that to even start a project like that, I would have to distill my life, or a section of my life, into one sentence, like vampire trying to get a snack. Okay? So, that's why. Or the not mating left sock. Left sock refuses to pair. It's the whole premise of the story. Left sock hates right sock. And I would have to distill my whole life or section or whatever I wanted to do there into one sentence. Then the whole book is about that one sentence. And that frames everything that's in the book. And then I could do it because life happens as you live the sentence. Same thing here. Vampire life happens as they look for a snack. So that's what that is, and that's why I have yet to be able to do it, because I cannot distill any part of my life into one sentence. I haven't been able to do it yet. So let's see here. Laundry sabotage. A cat decides that freshly folded laundry is an obstacle course. Socks disappeared, scarves wrapped around themselves like snakes, and somehow a lone slipper ended up in the fridge. Folks, sounds like a good writing prompt to me. What do you think? Try that one. Try that one. Your cat goes chaotic and a slipper ends up in the fridge. So these little things, these small things, exaggerate them to the point of absurdity. And then, while your character is dealing with this absurdity, the story will form around it. This is typically what I've found. Pick a small, insignificant, stupid thing, and the story will form around it. In fact, if you don't write, think about the last novel you read. What was it about? And it's probably something stupid that you wouldn't even think about. Like, oh, it's a murder mystery. Yeah, but isn't it really about whatever ended the the character's life. So it's about what? A poison, a knife, a slippery step. So the whole book is about a slippery step. Or, oh, what's that joke? It was snowing outside. The house gutters were covered in icicles. Somebody walks up. They see the character laying on the ground and a puddle of water next to him. What happened? The icicle fell and then it melted. So what was the whole story about? A melted icicle. That's the whole story. The whole story is about that. So think about it. You know, either the last thing you've written or the last thing you've read. What was it really about? What was it really about? It was probably something stupid. So, you know, and here's the other thing. Don't be afraid to write from weird perspectives, like the perspective of the cat, the perspective of the sock. I mean, could you imagine what a sock's thinking as it goes around in the dryer? Ah! Ah! You know, so take one object from today, whatever's in your life, or maybe whatever's in your hand, and make a story about it. Maybe you want to make a story about a little pink clip, right? It's a little pink paper clip thing. I don't remember what these are called. They're weird. They're paper clips. Or, you know, maybe a story, let's see what are the weird things. About a staple puller. You use these, you staple anything. Maybe it talks. Maybe it jumps. Maybe it likes to play leapfrog. Maybe it's a story about a lost panda corn with a rainbow tail. You know, just pick something weird. Something weird, like a Mr. Fuzz keychain. Mr. Fuzz keychain. In fact, I do have a story for the Mr. Fuzz keychain. Because you can make a story about anything. Here's the box insert. Let me read the box insert to you. You can make a story out of anything, even a Mr. Fuzz keychain. So let me tell you my Mr. Fuzz keychain story. Mr. Fuzz, guardian of the shadows, destroyer of fish gravy, appears when least expected. No one remembers when he arrived at Whitmore Arms. He simply was. Found perched on Gothic balconies, in guest room bathtubs, or atop ancient books no one recalls checking out. Some say he's a ghost. Others say he is the true landlord. All agree, wherever Mr. Fuzz goes, secrets unravel, and snacks mysteriously vanish. This keychain honors his many lives, each piece a clue, a memory, or a warning. Carry him if you dare. He already knows where your spare key is. Right? You can make a story out of anything. Me? I like making stories out of Mr. Fuzz keychains. Just in case you don't know who Mr. Fuzz is. Mr. Fuzz. Alright, so I'm having way too much time making jewelry and making little stories about jewelry, but pick something stupid. Something stupid, like, I think I was using this to clean my keyboard out. I missed it. But maybe a Q-tip that is used to clean your keyboard. What story could you invent about that? Think about that. So keep your eyes open for the absurd and hilarious in everyday life. You know, and if you want more socks, chaos, and drama, hopefully you signed up for the newsletter that went out before you saw this video. If not, I think I'll leave a link to the newsletter down in the description. There will also be a link down way at the bottom to sign up for the newsletter. Anyway, folks, if you liked this video, please like and subscribe. I love all my subscribers. You guys are awesome. If you feel like donating to the channel, you can now do that directly via YouTube, or you can still use the GoFundMe or Buy Me a Coffee links in the description. You do not have to donate. It's just cool when you do. I really appreciate it. So anyway, have a wonderful day. And if you don't watch any other videos this weekend, or maybe you do, either way, have a wonderful weekend. And I will bring you something interesting soon, probably tomorrow or later today. Depends on your perspective.